Hello, on today's tutorial we're going to make these skull statues for your D&D games, Warhammer 40k, Frostgrave, Ghost Archipelago, or any sort of scenario where you need some necromancy. Craft skull statues. Thank you for tuning into the Warren Christmas Village channel. Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Today we're going to be making some skull statues for your D&D games. To begin with, we're going to need these dowel pin stands, as well as these round circular wood bits. These are the fancy ones with a nice smooth edge, but if you want to go budget, you can use this variety pack from the craft store as well. I like the fancier ones with the beveled edge because I just think it gives a nice look. And as you can see, here is where the craft is headed. We'll also need some skulls. These are leftovers from Halloween. They come in a variety of styles and they have different paint jobs. The laughing skulls versus the grinning skulls. There's a silver one. They're hard plastic. Basically what the craft is, glue a base together to create some kind of interesting shape and then glue the skull on top. It's pretty simple. For this tutorial, I'm going to use hot glue, which tends to work. And now it's a picture of the new hot glue gun I'm going to use. If you'd like to try some other kinds of glue, you could check the Glue This to That website, which will give you more in-depth. But I found that this project works. Some of the skulls that you saw in the early intro, the ones with the red jewels, I've had those for like 3 years or something. And used hot glue on those, and they've worked out pretty good. So here you go. If you want to go ahead and follow this along, it's pretty simple. Take the hot glue, put it on the bottom of the dowel stands, and then glue the wood disc to the center. That creates a really interesting feature for the base. Now these skulls do come with some flash molding, and this one unfortunately has all sorts of words on the back about being made in China and such. So I just file those down on all the skulls, and then we'll put some paint on there to cover that up. So here we go, priming with my Chaos Black, because I think this stuff does a really good job. There's some kind of finite texture that happens with the paint or something, and the cheap acrylic craft paint just sticks right to it really nice. So then I did another layer of my base coat, which is another primer, a Rust-Oleum primer. So the first thing I did is took this green gray that I've used in other tutorials and just splotched it on like so. Give a little bit of texture, and I made sure to hit the back where those words were. My goal is to put on layers of paint to get rid of those. Next thing I did is I went in with this gray, and I forgot that I had plugged these holes at the top of the skulls, and a piece of glue would have been nice, or some of that green stuff, or some kind of modeling clay. But since I was already in my project before I realized my silliness, I went ahead and filled it up with acrylic paint. Then I just took that finger and pushed the paint all over the place, dabbed it on here and there. You can use a brush for this if you don't want to use your finger, but sometimes I just like to finger paint and get dirty. I paid special attention to the front of the face where the eye sockets are and the teeth. And then I also blended out some of the spot on top of the head because each one of these skulls is going to have that, and I didn't want them to all look exactly the same. So here we go with 3 coats of paint. We have the base coat, the green, and now the gray. Here's a before and after. The paint in the back where the words were was still a little wet, so I just took some and kept going and spread that all around. Kept going with the dotting of the different colors. So I hope you can see that we're developing a richness and texture and depth of color to the stone, taking it away from being monochromatic and adding different values of grays to get a desired nice effect. Here I'm going to do another one on top, and bam, 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 I just tap it all around. The goal is just to get really like a almost like a medium thin kind of coat. I want a thicker coat right here on the back, but the rest of it I want where those words are to try and cover that up, the texture. But the rest of it I just kind of want dabbles, real random. You could use a sponge, a tool as a tool, or a paintbrush, but like I said, I enjoy my finger. After all that had dried up, I decided it's time to do some dry brushing. So I got my white out. I thought about doing a different color, but figured white would be the best. So with my dry brushing, I like to put it on some kind of paper as well as my hand. And I'm just going to film this so you guys can see how it works and watch the color start to take shape with the skull and the skull statues. This footage is real time. I know it looks kind of sped up, but it really isn't. I just move that fast. And I wanted to keep these in real time so you could see how quick it takes to put these together. It's about a minute per skull to dry brush. Side by side, left has a dry brushing and the right side does not. Once again, I'm going to just go ahead and film this live without speeding anything up so you can get an idea of how I like to get my dry brush for this project. Once again, I do heavy-handed, and my favorite way to do dry brush is actually on my skin. That way I can get an idea of what how much paint's on there. Because anytime I put it on, say, a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper or a piece of newspaper or even a piece of plastic, whatever I'm using to spread the paint around, it's never consistent, whereas my hand, the palm of my hand is generally pretty consistent. Oops. So here you go, kick back and enjoy, and just watch the magical transformation of these really start to take shape. And brought to unlife. Bit of extra on this brush, I just went ahead and hit the front face of the remaining skull statues. I figured there's a little bit of paint and product still on there, so I went ahead and just decided to highlight some of the raised bits on the front just to give them a little extra bit of a pop. And a final detail is gemstone eyes. If you'd like to add that detail to your stone sculpture, go ahead and get these little craft sparkly bits from usually any kind of store, but I decided to leave mine without the gems because I have enough with gems, and the rogue inevitably climbs up there to loot the statue. So y'all have a good one. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please hit the like and subscribe button and attune to the notification bell. Thank you.